years ago, myself and a colleague went to a course with Flo Longhorn, which was about spirituality in special schools, social, moral, cultural, spiritual welfare in special schools. It was a great day, it was a lovely day, and lots of seeds were sown for things that we wanted to happen in school. But one of the initiatives that came out of that project was something we later came to call Butterfly Day. We wanted to create a special time and a space for our pupils to be able to remember people who were no longer in their lives, whether that was simply because people had moved on, to staff to a different job, friends to a different school, maybe there'd been family breakup or bereavement. There are lots of different reasons why we might be missing people, and this was well back in pre-COVID days. And we felt it was important to have a time to remember those people. So we put a date in the diary, we had a day. We didn't at that time have a clear idea what shape the day would take or what would actually happen on the day. And then one morning I was just driving to work and turning things over in my mind, and suddenly had the idea for creating some stations, different stations, which would all be set up in the hall that pupils could visit through the day. They could spend as much or as little time at each station as they wanted to. There would be activities which weren't dependent on language, which could be accessed at different levels. So they could be accessed at a language level, but also at much more of a symbolic level. Activities that allowed for play, that allowed for reflection, that allowed for expression. And so we began. We felt it was important that families knew what we were doing. We envisaged that it was possible that the day might bring up some difficult emotions, some complex emotions for pupils, which we might be able to address in school, but they might also take home with them. We also wanted to give families the opportunity to alert us to any absences or any losses in the pupils' lives that we might not know about, and invite them to, for instance, send in a photo or write in a homeschool book, or even some objects that would enable us to start a conversation with that particular pupil, and to tease out perhaps some memories and some feelings in a really positive way. We were really determined that it would be a positive day, not a miserable day, and that was part of the intention, a strong part of the intention from the first. So on the morning of Butterfly Day, we arrived. We were busy setting up the hall with stations, and the different activities that we put out had little themes or parts to play in a kind of imaginary process of integrating and expressing memories. And the first station was all about remembering. We put a blue sari right along the length of the hall, like a river, so it was in imagination a river of remembrance. And then we had things that could be placed on the river. So there were stones that could either be placed just as they were, or they could be decorated in any way and placed on the river of remembrance. There were post-its where children could write or mark make and place on the river of remembrance. There were flowers that could be placed as they were, just choosing a special flower, or perhaps a few petals from a flower and placing them on the river of remembrance. It was also long enough that you could take a slow meditative walk up the river of remembrance and just spend some quiet time reflecting. So that was remembering. The next station round was letting go. And this one we provided bubbles, lots of bubbles, because bubbles are there and then they're gone. And also we had a long tube that I think came from the inside of a carpet, and stones that could be dropped down the tube, dropped down the chute, so that something could be held as a very tactile experience, and then it would disappear, it would be gone. So just introducing that idea of there and then gone, and allowing that to really become a sensory experience for pupils, and also again perhaps be the start of a conversation. So after letting go, the next idea was transformation, and so that was, if you like, a kind of hungry caterpillar idea, where something dies and it's an ending, but it's also a new beginning. So there we had little biopots and compost and sunflower seeds, so the children could plant something, take it back to class, water it, look after it, care for it, hopefully watch it grow. And in later years that all got a bit more sophisticated, so we were making seed bombs and seed mats and that kind of thing, as a way of transformation. Of course you could have stories in that place as well, again as a way to start a conversation, or simply to introduce those kind of concepts and emotions. So after transformation we had a comfort station. We had members of staff who were themselves quite tactile and loved a hug, and who volunteered to rota and be there available for any pupil that needed a hug during the day and requested a hug. We also had cushions and teddies, so they had other things to cuddle, they had inanimate things to cuddle, and emoji cushions. So the emoji cushions obviously had different feelings on them: sad, angry, happy. So again, providing a starting point for a conversation, or just simply allowing a choice that might be instinctive on the part of the child. It was also fine in the comfort station for people just to hang out, just to be there, and there would be another human being also just being there, which in itself can feel really comforting, really healing. So then there were two more stations. One we kind of labelled Express. So we had lots of mark making materials. In other years, collage materials. You could also have Play-Doh, clay, whatever. The emphasis in the first year was on creating like a prayer tree. So we had luggage labels where children could mark make and then tie them on the tree, ribbons that could be drawn on and then tied on, that kind of thing. But obviously children enjoy exploring different materials, different tactile materials, so anything appropriate to them would be great there. And although we had in mind that there would be something that was finished, a visual product, if you like, of the day that we could keep and display somewhere as a reminder, that's not an essential element. And just the experience of being able to express yourself through your hands or whatever, your feet, in whatever way is appropriate, we felt was really important. And then the last station we called Reflect. So that was really just another place to hang out. There was a table with candles, battery candles, all alight. It was slightly dark at that end of the hall, and a big bowl of water with origami flowers which could be placed in the water and then they would open. So it was quite mesmerising being able to sit or stand and watch the flower open, and just led to a very quiet end to the activities. So during the day those activities were freely available. Obviously pupils were supported by their class staff, as well as the activities being facilitated by staff who were posted at the stations. And then at the end of the day we decided to release some butterflies. We'd ordered some butterflies to release, and so we all gathered outside and the butterflies had arrived in their box the day before. We opened the box and out they flew. It was really lovely to see everyone's delight at seeing the butterflies released, seeing them fly off. And we were lucky, it was warm, it was sunny, it was summertime. But there were concerns afterwards about the welfare of the butterflies, and that's not something we repeated subsequently. We found other ways of being together at the end of the day, creating symbolic circles, making a mandala together, singing together. Just being together could be enough. Just finding a way to be together and to feel complete at the end of the day. It was a very important beginning, I think, for the school, and it did open up lots of conversations. I think the staff found it very valuable, as well as the pupils, to be able to remember those who they'd lost, and to be able to open up conversations with pupils around it. So that the day in itself wasn't an ending. The day could actually be a beginning. I understand that Butterfly Day is still happening in school, so I'm going to pass you on now to Anthony, who is the current deputy head, and he's going to tell you how Butterfly Day has evolved and what it's like now. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Eleanor. Everything that you've said is still really prevalent to our young people at Lyme Academy Alton, and we've continued to use Butterfly Day as a celebration and reflection event for our learners and our staff. For a bit of context, we are a 154 place special school based in Peterborough for learners between the ages of 2 and 19 across 2 campuses. All of our young people have severe or profound learning needs. Many have complex or multiple disabilities, including medical needs, sensory impairments, physical disabilities, or behaviours that may challenge. We deliver a bespoke curriculum across 2 pathways designed to be individualised to each learner in both a personal and purposeful way. Our teachers craft creative learning experiences using context each term, with a strong focus on immersive environments and classrooms and interactive approaches to teaching and learning. This is where Butterfly Day sits for us, as part of our enhanced curriculum of yearly events. Over time, it's evolved to become part of our Woodland Festival, which is a Glastonbury-esque celebration of music, dance, art, spirituality and calm that we put on each year, that really captures the soul of what our school's all about and celebrates the successes and activities that our young people really find interesting and connects with them. The focus for Butterfly Day continues to be on the themes of change, evolution, transition and loss. Sadly, due to the nature of our young people's needs, we do experience loss in the most keen of ways on a regular basis, in the passing away of a pupil. Each time this shapes our school community, and we respond through our commitment to supporting our learners, families and each other. We've developed over time a comprehensive approach to communicating and supporting our community in the instance where a learner dies. This culminates in the purpose of our Butterfly Day, a celebration of life and individuality. For me, Butterfly Day is not a sad time, it's a time for us to reflect and remember what each learner who's left our school, for whatever reason, has taught us about ourselves and about themselves. We are committed to giving each young person a wonderful life experience through their education with us, summarised in part by our curriculum intent, which is each learner's journey through school is as unique and different as they are. Every day counts and every day makes a difference. This year, as part of our Butterfly Day, we arranged a wealth of opportunities, environmental, exploratory and in the form of our learning approaches. As with previous years, we set up our school halls, this time as enchanted forests, and we were lucky enough to have 1,000 paper butterflies donated to us by a staff member's family following a wedding, and these were hung from the beams in our room to create a wonderful environment. The day become here as I invited any staff and learners who wanted to join in a sing-along on duvets on the floor. We sat and sung songs from Disney films. These hold a special meaning for us as a curriculum context, but also as many families choose to include these songs in funeral services for their child. So a lot of staff have memories of attending and thinking about young people who are no longer with us as part of those life celebrations. Class teachers then designed a timetable for their class or individuals to access the stations and activities on offer across the school, which is outlined on our Butterfly Day plan. So these included, but not exclusively, activities around stones, such as stone rolling, stone decoration, using various art forms that were very temporary, such as mandalas, some on the playground, some in classrooms, Play-Doh and sand modelling, the idea of creation that's temporary and that you can then remould into something else. Memory trees, so we have tags that we write on names or statements and we hang on trees. Comfort stations where you can reflect and spend time with people that you have relationships with or know well. Planting seeds, the hope that things will grow and new life in the future. Additionally, we utilise especially set up reflective spaces. These were used across our Woodland Festival week as ad hoc environments to rest, recover, and again build those relationships with people in a really meaningful and creative way. We also offered reflective focused versions of our teaching approaches in a cross-class format for all to enjoy and experience. So teachers would host and children from different classes would come together, perhaps meet some people they haven't seen for a while, or people that are new to them, and really mix up the community across the school. These included massages and foot spas put on by some of our fantastic teaching assistants in our therapy room. One class team offered nature wand making sessions. They dressed as fairies and shared natural resources that they'd collected for the young people to make their own fairy wands. We hosted therapeutic yoga sessions, utilising our lovely Key Stage 2 lawn and also in the hall, and a range of sound baths, both outside in our bell tent and the Nest, our Key Stage 2 movement room. After all our activities and shared moments, we ended the day with a whole campus kirtan devotional singing session. This included songs, chants, instruments, with classes joining to lay upon the lawn, watch the clouds and enjoy the musical tones. We capture everything we do here at Lyme Academy Orton using photographs and videos which are uploaded onto our Evidence for Learning cloud-based platform. We use tags to highlight and celebrate learning in different areas, including, in this instance, the one that links back to our curriculum intent, #LivingYourBestLife. I hope it's been useful hearing about what we do here at Lyme Academy Orton. Butterfly Day is a part of our established practice and we hope it will continue for many years to come. It's a fantastic opportunity for our young people, a time for friendship, a time for reflection and a time for learning. Thanks.